welcome to the August Scientific Advisory Board call. Really happy to be here tonight and to talk about one of our newest products. And of course, that is Eternal, the one that everybody's been talking about. I've seen so many posts on Facebook and Twitter. Even saw a couple of YouTube videos, so that is amazing how everybody's using social media to reach out there. We have all of our advisory board doctors on the call this evening. At least they're all expected to be here, despite the fact that we had a crazy week and then just are coming out of conference. They've still been able to dedicate their time to the cause of VASAYO and in changing 1 million lives and blessing 1 million lives. And I really appreciate them taking the time to be on this call and to research the topics that they were assigned to speak on. You know, Eternal is an amazing product. It truly is one of the first anti-aging products that contains antioxidants from exogenous sources, meaning from plant life and from fruits and vegetables, as well as internal antioxidants, the type that your own body produces, such as glutathione and coenzyme Q10. Combined with collagen and the liposome technology, it really is an amazing product. We're going to be covering each one of the major ingredients in this product so that you'll get a better training and better understanding of how each one of these ingredients can help you and your family. We're going to be starting out tonight with Dr. Snyder. Dr. Snyder, are you available?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. And for all of those listening, if you don't know the members of our advisory board, I suggest you get on the VASAYO website. You can scroll down to the About Us section, find the medical advisory board, and look at each one of these individuals' bios. Dr. Timothy Snyder is going to be doing the first part of our presentation today. He's going to be talking about polyphenols. Please look over his bio, as well as Dr. Sabo, Dr. Galicia's, and Dr. Baker's information as well. It's all there on the website. So if you hadn't had a chance to do that yet, please do so. Get to know these doctors. They're amazing. Dr. Snyder, why don't you tell us a little bit about polyphenols and what makes them so unique and amazing?
Happy to, and it's great to be here. And once again, Tracy, you have outdone yourself. This is a beautiful product, and I think the more we look at the ingredients that has been put into Eternal, the more we're impressed. I want everybody that's on the call to think about this. I want you to think about aging, and then think about aging of your skin. You know, it's interesting that usually when we measure someone's age, we look at how they look, and we look at sort of wrinkles, we look at pigment, we look at age spots, we look at skin cancers. And that's really how we measure someone as far as measuring how old they may be. And then I want you to think about someone you know that has aged, and maybe aged a little bit faster than their chronologic age. In other words, they might be 40, but they look 60. And I want you to think about, all of you have probably got someone that you know that you think of them, and you look at them and you say, gosh, they look old. And there's a reason for that. And actually, I'm getting to polyphenols, but there's a reason why someone may age faster than what their age really is. And I want you to think about, if you picture somebody that's a little bit older than their chronologic age, they're usually smokers, or they're sun worshipers, or they may be alcoholics or a drug addict. They may be malnourished. Now, most Americans are not, we're definitely overfed, but many of us are undernourished. They may be immunocompromised. In other words, an organ transplant recipient may somewhat look older than they really are. And also people with chronic inflammation. So the question is, why did Tracy decide to put polyphenols in this product? And the reason he did is because of something called superfruits, and superfruits are really packed full of polyphenols. And the reason why they are so super is because they have shown an extraordinary ability to survive in very, very difficult environments. In fact, most of the polyphenols grow at the equator. And what happens at the equator is that the intensity of the sun is greater there than anywhere else. In other words, if you're going to have ultraviolet damage, it's going to occur at the equator. And if you took any one of us and took off our shirts and exposed our faces and our skin to the ultraviolet radiation at the equator, we would become sunburned very, very quickly. Well, the fruits that are superfruits have developed internal sunscreens, and they've also developed pigments. And these pigments are actually what make many of our foods nutritious. In fact, if you think about, you've maybe heard that some grocers or food producers will actually pick their food or their fruits and vegetables before they're ripe, and they'll use there's many different techniques for causing coloration, but they'll take something, they'll treat it with ethylene gas or something else that'll make it actually produce a color before it's actually ripe. And the one thing I want you to think about that actually goes even beyond this product is when you eat food, the darker the pigment, usually the more polyphenols they have in it. In fact, even if you have a choice between eating a piece of white corn versus yellow corn, the yellow corn is actually more healthy because it has more polyphenols in it. Now, we're going to circle back now, and I'm going to get to the skin, but really it's the oxidative stress that ages the skin. And as we know, the polyphenols, especially the superfruits, the polyphenols in the superfruits, are strong antioxidants. In fact, they're not only antioxidants, but they're actually also anti-inflammatories. Now, it's interesting, if you think about what we have traditionally thought, we have thought all you have to do is rub something on the skin and you can get rid of wrinkles, or you can prevent wrinkles. And wrinkles are actually something that start from the inside and work their way up. And so beauty truly is on the inside. And the polyphenols that Tracy has put into Eternal obviously are bathed in the liposome, which allows for them to be absorbed into the bloodstream and then into the critical areas where the inflammation occurs and where the polyphenols can actually repair some of the damage that occurs to our skin when we're exposed to ultraviolet radiation. This same damage is the same damage that occurs when we smoke a cigarette or when we smoke a cigar or even when we eat a highly inflammatory meal. And yes, there are meals that are inflammatory and that can actually cause premature aging. So the bottom line, and I'm going to finish it, is that despite spending millions of dollars on the lotion and skincare products where they're applied topically, and there definitely is a role for this, it's critical that we treat beauty from the inside out. And really, that's what polyphenols are. Think of them as your internal sunscreen. They are anti-inflammatory, and they are also antioxidant. And so when we say that beauty starts on the inside, it truly does. But our environment and some of the other things have really caused us to need nutrition in the form of polyphenols to help prevent us from aging prematurely. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Tim. I was actually remembering as you were talking clear back 20, 25 years ago when I was actually taking a botany course and was learning how and why the leaves change colors during the season. And I remember being so fascinated by that. And if you guys don't know or haven't, don't have a chemical understanding of why that happens, just Google it, and it might only be 2 or 3 paragraphs long, but it is amazing how the polyphenols in plants actually protect the plant from not just sun rays, but harshness of the cold and the climate, and then again produce different flavonoids and polyphenols and things like that as the temperature warms up again. Really, nature is truly amazing, and to think that these ingredients can benefit our bodies internally, I mean, it really is amazing to see how everything on Earth has a connection. And we can mutually benefit plant life, and plant life mutually benefits us as well. We really can coexist. So read up on that if you don't know that. Just Google that. Google, why do leaves change colors or something like that, and you'll learn about different compounds in those plants that we're also getting in these superfruits that aid our bodies. So again, it's just fascinating. Thanks a lot, Dr. Snyder, for sharing that information with us. I've asked Dr. Sabo to talk about a different type of antioxidant, an antioxidant that our own body produces, that when it comes to free radical scavenging within our own body is hundreds of times more potent than polyphenols. Now, don't think that one is better than the other. Polyphenols do amazing things inside of our body other than just scavenge free radicals. And again, they help protect our arteries and help build and protect our heart muscles. And there's so many different things that they do. But if we're only looking at one aspect, free radical scavenging, glutathione is incredible. It is the power antioxidant. Dr. Sabo, are you available?
I am, Tracy. Can you hear me?
Yes. Thanks for joining us. Can you tell us about glutathione?
I certainly can. Thank you, Tracy, for, again, as I say all the time, for these great products. I'm excited to be here. I'm honored to be part of the Scientific Advisory Board, and I look forward to letting you know about glutathione. So for those of you at the March to a Million convention last week in Salt Lake City, I touched on glutathione as it pertained to the sleep product, which I spoke on. You see, glutathione detoxifies both the liver and the brain, and I mentioned that with Tylenol overdose. I work as an emergency doctor, so I see this type of problem quite frequently. And with Tylenol overdose or acetaminophen overdose, the body actually gets depleted of this substance, glutathione, and therefore one cannot detoxify the liver. And then I mentioned that's why we give this substance NAC, N-acetylcysteine, which is in the sleep product, because it replenishes the body of glutathione and counters the effect of this Tylenol overdose. So what actually is glutathione? Glutathione is actually made up of three tripeptide or three amino acids, and I'll just give you the names here. I'm not going to go into depth, but it's cysteine, glycine, and glutamic acid. And it's actually found in high levels in most cells. But I think just as we learned about polyphenols from Dr. Schneider, you're going to see right now, as I talk about the important roles of glutathione, you're going to see why Tracy put it in this product. Number one, it neutralizes free radicals. You know, we're talking about free radicals. I don't know how many of you know actually what a free radical is. It's a substance that's linked to certain types of disease and symptoms of aging. So glutathione neutralizes these bad, so to speak, free radicals. It's also a cofactor for antioxidants. And antioxidants are substances that prevent or delay certain types of cell damage. Again, another great benefit of glutathione. It also regenerates vitamin C and E, and it takes mercury out of the cells in the brain, other benefits, and it's important for mitochondrial function. The mitochondria are substances in your body's cells that produce about 90% of the energy that we need to survive. And if you're depleted, I want you to think about this. If you're depleted in glutathione, you can be susceptible to a lot of different types of diseases, such as neurologic. There's Lou Gehrig's disease, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, pulmonary diseases such as asthma and emphysema, HIV, autoimmune diseases, hypertension, heart attack, chronic age-related diseases such as cataracts and macular degeneration, liver disease, cystic fibrosis, and here we go, aging process. You know, there was a study I was looking at in the elderly, and it found that higher levels of glutathione were associated with A, better physical health, B, fewer illnesses, and C, higher levels of self-related health. So glutathione sounds great, right? So how can we actually increase glutathione in the body? Well, first, just like with the polyphenols that was just discussed, we need to decrease our exposure to certain toxins, whether it's, taking too much Tylenol, alcohol, as with the polyphenols, it can actually decrease the levels of glutathione. Certain substances such as NAC and other supplements can actually boost the body production of glutathione, and that includes curcumin, selenium, silymarin, vitamin C and E. And then there's daily intake. So daily intake is really actually very small compared to the amount of glutathione that's actually in the body, but it's really still important. And when you take glutathione, and we'll talk about the foods in a second that contain glutathione, it actually gets absorbed through the intestine, and when it does, it helps detoxify and boost the health of the digestive system at the same time. Keep in mind that cooking reduces the glutathione. So the following uncooked foods are actually very rich in glutathione, and that includes raw fruits and vegetables, raw eggs, unpasteurized milk and dairy, and raw or rare meats. So cooked, pasteurized, and processed foods contain little or no glutathione. So as I wrap up my part of the discussion, how can we get glutathione? You can get it intravenously, orally, topically, intranasally, and even nebulized, or breathing it in like in an asthma machine. But as far as oral goes, so far, most studies have actually not shown an increase in concentration of glutathione in the body when taken orally. But they haven't used liposomes. And Tracy, I know you're going to address that later in this discussion. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Sabo. It is in the dietary supplement industry, it is pretty common knowledge, and that it's one of the reasons why you don't see glutathione supplements out there unless they are liposomal, because glutathione has actually been shown to be destroyed in the digestive tract. The stomach acid, about a pH of 1.7 to a pH of 2.1, basically destroys all glutathione. So even if you're eating a high glutathione containing food, or you're eating raw meat, which is high in glutathione, that glutathione does not survive the digestive tract and has no statistical significance on increasing your internal glutathione levels. So it was important that we had the liposome technology in this product, because that is one of the only proven ways to orally take glutathione and have it have a statistically significant increase of glutathione levels in your body. The only other way, as you mentioned already, was intravenous or nasal or nebulizers. You know, you've got to somehow nanosize the particles to get it right to your bloodstream, or use liposomes. That's the only way to get it. It does decrease as you age. It's actually kind of why we start to show our age. When your glutathione levels are low, you start showing that. The gray hair and the wrinkles start to increase. Your muscle mass starts to decrease. There's so many problems that happen in the body, namely because glutathione levels decrease as we age. It is an enzyme that our livers produce, but as we age, that production decreases, and then we start to show our age. Otherwise, you could be, 90 years old and still look like you're 20 if your glutathione levels never depleted. So anyway, wouldn't that be nice? Dr. Galacia, are you available right now? You did mention to me you're going to be late. Let me know if you're on. I've asked Dr. Lana Galacia to speak on coenzyme Q10, another one of the key ingredients in the Eternal. And if she's not on, I'll go ahead and talk a little bit on coenzyme Q10, because it is one of the major ingredients we have on the product. Lana, are you there? Doesn't look like she's going to be on. So I'm going to go ahead and just speak briefly on coenzyme Q10. Coenzyme Q10 is one of those other antioxidants that your own body produces. It's actually found in every cell in every living organism, both plant and animal. So coenzyme Q10 is found in every cell within your body. In fact, I'm surprised coenzyme Q10 has not yet received vitamin status. When science discovers a nutrient that is vital for life, or in other words, why you can't live without it and you have to orally ingest it via food or whatnot in order to continue living, then it becomes a vitamin status. We know that coenzyme Q10 is essential for life. We just don't know why yet, or all the reasons why. But we do know that it depletes with aging, but we don't know what the recommended amounts that you would need to ingest yet are either. So there's still more research that needs to be done on coenzyme Q10, but I believe coenzyme Q10 will eventually be a vitamin, whether it'll be vitamin Q or whatever name they decide to give it. I think it will eventually become a vitamin because it is vital for life. As I mentioned earlier, coenzyme Q10 levels decrease as you age. So supplementing with it is very important. In fact, they found that people with heart disease have chronically low levels of coenzyme Q10, and those people who have high levels of coenzyme Q10 do not get heart disease. As I mentioned before, coenzyme Q10 is found in every living organism, plant and animal, in every cell. So obviously, the more, and by the way, it's a coenzyme, and it is destroyed with heat like other coenzymes are. So as you cook your food, you destroy coenzyme Q10. So eating raw fruits and raw vegetables is one way of getting coenzyme Q10. But just like glutathione, there's been lots of research to show that, even ingesting foods high in coenzyme Q10 doesn't actually raise your own body's intercellular coenzyme Q10. And they found that, again, supplementing in doses of between 25 milligrams for a maintenance dose and for people with heart disease, taking 100 milligrams has had clinical significance or statistical significance at reducing the reoccurrence of like heart attacks and things like that. In fact, I'm just going to list off the top of my head some, if I can remember everything, some of the research that's been done on coenzyme Q10. Currently, not currently, for the last 20 years, there has been research on heart disease and other heart conditions like congestive heart failure, arterial sclerosis, people who have had to have bypass surgery. They've done research on supplementing coenzyme Q10 after bypass to aid in the healing process of the heart. But currently there's research going on with Parkinson's disease, statin-induced myopathy. So that research that I remember reading talked about helping muscle weakness and how when you take statin drugs, the heart muscle actually gets weaker, but supplementing with coenzyme Q10 can actually increase the muscle strength of the heart. There was research I read about coenzyme Q10 and migraine headaches, how CoQ10 might be able to decrease the frequency of migraine headaches. And again, I'm actually quoting off research. To give that disclaimer here, we're not saying that we've got a product that can mitigate or alleviate or cure migraines or heart disease or anything like that. I'm just quoting research right off of PubMed that I've read recently on coenzyme Q10. As I was building this product, I wanted to look at doses and what clinicians were using for doses of coenzyme Q10. There was also research, by the way, on physical performance, actually athletes using coenzyme Q10 to increase muscle recovery after workouts or athletic events or things like that. So there's quite a bit of research going on out there with coenzyme Q10. By the way, coenzyme Q10 is GRAS rated. That means generally regarded as safe. So that typically means that when science has shown that you could quadruple, even 10 times or 20 times the dose of something, that there are no effects on the kidneys or liver or anything like that, then you can receive that GRAS rating where the nutrient is generally recognized as safe no matter what the dose is. So those are some of the most up-to-date research you'll find on coenzyme Q10 and some of the benefits it has in our bodies. Again, we've included that with the liposome technology so you get maximum absorption so that the nutrient itself isn't destroyed in the GI tract. And I guess that's all I have to say about coenzyme Q10. We'll have to, let Lana talk about that next time. I guess she might have had different things she wanted to mention. I mean, she's an anesthesiologist. She specializes in pain. She's a pain specialist. And she may know more up-to-date research on coenzyme Q10 than what I just quoted off the top of my head. But anyway, let's move on to Dr. James Baker. I've asked him to talk about collagen. This is another key ingredient in Eternal. A lot of people have asked me, hey, how could you fit all these, cool ingredients, so many ingredients in one product? Well, it is a 30 ml pouch, so I had quite a bit of room to fit everything in here that we needed. But collagen is one that, boy, if I could have given you 30 mLs just of straight collagen, I would have done that. But unfortunately, I couldn't fit it all in the bag because collagen is one of those things that you can take a lot of. The more you take, the more it benefits you. But I'm going to let James talk about that. Dr. Baker, are you available?
Yes, I am, Tracy.
Great. Hey, can you tell us about collagen?
Well, sure. Take a shot at it. First of all, thanks to VASAYO Nation for listening in tonight. Thank you, Tracy. Again, I've been asked to talk about collagen, which is in our antioxidant super blend that we call Eternal. And collagen is a complex protein that basically it binds tissues and is often called our body's scaffolding system, or it's even referred to as the glue that holds our body together. So obviously very important. It's fundamental to healthy cell reproduction for our bones, joints, and connective tissue. Collagen is very strong. Actually, the type 1 version of collagen, which is what is in our bodies, is gram for gram considered to be stronger than steel. Some experts say that collagen makes up about 75% of the dry weight of our skin and about 30% of the total protein mass in our entire body. It is rich in amino acids, like a couple of them are proline, arginine, and glycine, which are needed to maintain and repair our tendons, bones, and joints. Hydrolyzed collagen has about 8 of 9 essential amino acids in it, meaning basically those amino acids that we don't make naturally but we need to get from our diets. So what is hydrolyzed collagen? I've already been asked that several times. Basically, when you take raw collagen tissue from beef, chicken, fish sources, that kind of thing, and break that down, or at least break down the molecular bonds between the strands of these fibers in a laboratory setting, typically either by physical, chemical, or biological means. Basically, it's a process where the fibers are reduced to smaller peptides, which are like smaller chains of amino acids. It helps with absorption, and actually it's the more bioavailable form. As we get older, we break down collagen faster than we replace it, so that is obviously a problem with our aging. For several years now, collagen was used for in the injectable form, which is not quite as popular today because it was found out over many years that it doesn't really last very long in the skin. Topical forms basically didn't absorb very well. Newer studies, though, are showing some pretty impressive results with the ingestible form of collagen. The problem with this, like some of the other products we've already mentioned, some of the other ingredients, collagen is broken down in the GI tract just like some of the other things, particularly in the very harsh stomach acid environment. Along comes our liposomal delivery system, though, which makes the possibilities endless here. So some of the original studies with collagen were done in 1978, which showed that ingested collagen causes a sort of like a pulling together of our fibroblasts. Fibroblasts are cells in our body that we think of like our construction workers. They help us build up and repair our skin as one organ. It's also has been shown to occur really deep in the dermal layers of our skin, where a lot of the topical agents do not reach anyway. So fibroblasts are very important. When we ingest hydrolyzed collagen, it may affect the skin by increasing the density of the collagen fibers, and again, drawing in these fibroblasts, stimulating more of our own natural collagen production. There have been studies that show oral intake of hydrolyzed collagen, again, may decrease joint pain by accumulating in some of our cartilage cells, which allows it to form more natural collagen fibers, as I mentioned, in the other areas of the body as well. There was another study I found really interesting that occurred several years ago, which included 53 elderly men that had muscle loss from aging. They put them on about 15 grams of collagen a day and instructed them on how to lift weights 3 times a week, and they did this for 3 months. The men basically taking the collagen supplements and lifting weights gained significantly more muscle mass and lost significantly more fat mass than the men that were lifting weights only. There was another study I found very interesting in a long-term care facility. But what they did is they found an isolated residents of the long-term care facility who had pressure sores. And half of those people they treated with usual skin care protocols, and they fed them collagen supplements 3 times a day. The other half of the patients with these pressure sores just treated them with the usual skin care protocols. They found that the group treated with collagen healed their wounds in half the time as the other group. In 2015, there were several Japanese studies that I reviewed, which I found very interesting, probably some of the cleanest studies that I found on this. One was published in the Journal of Medical Nutrition and Nutraceuticals. Once again, done in Japan. It was a double-blind, placebo-controlled trial that showed that daily ingestion of, again, hydrolyzed collagen, like what is in Eternal, resulted in improvement in water absorption capacity of the skin, making it basically more plump, more smooth, less wrinkled. I found it also interesting that this was done with fish collagen, which, as it turns out, is the type of collagen used in our product called Eternal. In this study, they measured wrinkle depth at 3, 6, 9, and 12 weeks and found that as little as 6 weeks out, we're beginning to see significant decreases in skin wrinkling depth. Another well-done Japanese trial concluded that daily use of hydrolyzed collagen will physiologically counteract natural and photoaging processes that are in the skin of our face, basically helping to reduce visible signs of aging. So some incredible trials on this. This is only one of several wonderful components in Eternal that we've already discussed some of. I really can't wait to hear more of the testimonials of this product from the VASAYO Nation. So, Tracy, thank you once again for developing a pretty incredible product, it seems to me like. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, James, for sharing that. That was actually really interesting information. Yeah, spending the time I did in Japan, 20 years ago when I was in Japan, collagen supplements were selling everywhere, and they still are today. If you look at any of the beauty industries or go into any of the beauty salons, they sell these little vials of collagen that you just break open and suck down. And it's super popular items in Japan. By the way, super expensive. 10 little vials, which would be only a 10-day supply, would cost you on the low end $120 to $140, and I've seen them over $300 on the high end for the hydrolyzed fish collagen. Of course, bovine collagen and porcine collagen, they're a lot cheaper, but the hydrolyzed fish collagen is super expensive. I'm going to wrap up the call today by emphasizing to not forget that Eternal is a liposome product. As you Google each one of these nutrients, you're going to discover that polyphenols are really hard to absorb. There are multiple different types of polyphenols out there, and all of them have very large molecule sizes, so they're quite difficult for your body to assimilate them. Coenzyme Q10, again, any heat destroys coenzyme Q10. Glutathione you can ingest orally. And I've already taken dozens of questions from people saying, hey, you can't get glutathione orally. How come your product has it in it? I need to emphasize once more, liposome technology. That's what our delivery mechanism is. please look at liposomal glutathione supplements. There is tons of research on them out there. Liposomal coenzyme Q10 and liposomal polyphenols. We have all of this combined in one product. There's no need to shop around. And again, just like our Core Complete, if you want to shop around, go ahead, go compare pricing. The cheapest liposomal glutathiones you're going to find out there are in the $50 to $60 range just for that one ingredient. Then go source some collagen. You're going to pay another $60 or $70. Go source some liposomal polyphenols. Now, when I was adding up all the polyphenols we have in there, we have about 16 or 17 total with the 10 superfruits that we have. Some of the superfruits have multiple polyphenols in them, like pomegranate, like grapeseed extract. You know, not just are there oligomer-proanthocyanidins, but there's also resveratrol. In the pomegranates, there's ellagic acid as well as punacollagens. These are really powerful antioxidants, and one of these days I'll make a list. We'll shoot them out there for you so you can Google each one of them. But shopping those out in liposomals, most of them you won't even find in liposomes yet. I've never seen a liposomal OPC. But if you just went and bought OPC all by itself, you'd spend $40 to $60, and you wouldn't even absorb any of it. If you shopped out resveratrol all by itself, you might spend over $100 on resveratrol, and again, won't get any benefit from that. In fact, resveratrol is less than 1% bioavailable. So here we have it in a liposomal source where you're actually getting that nutrient to your bloodstream where it can do some good and delivered right to the cell. It is an amazing product. We've already gotten amazing testimonials on it. I can't wait for people to share it so we get more and more testimonials on it and again, march our way to changing 1 million lives. Thanks, everyone, for joining in the call tonight. It has been recorded. It will be out there. Peter's really good at getting this up here within just 24 hours or so of it being recorded. So share it. Again, thanks for joining in the call, everyone. Have a good evening.